My name is Jessica and I have no idea what I'm doing. Today I'm going to be testing out the Morphe 35V Stunning Vibes palette. It has a bunch of neutrals, but I'm obviously here for the greens, blues, the purple, and the few like berry pink tones. I'm going to try out as many as I can for you and let you know how I feel about this palette. So let's get started. Today I'm going to do a blue look, or maybe blue with a pop of neutral. I'm going to start with this fluffy brush from Too Faced. It's the blender brush from the Mr. Right Eye collection. And, oh yeah, these shades have names. I'm going to start with Hit It Off, which is this matte medium to dark blue with a little bit of gray in it. Basically matches my shirt. And I'm going to put that, as my transition shade. My eyeshadow primer is not set, and that might not be a good thing. So this eye is primed, the other is not, as per usual when I test things out. Okay, I mean, I like the color, but I think I need to set my eyeshadow primer next time, at least for the blues maybe in this palette. Oh yeah, look at this. I'm gonna go in with my dollar store brush on this side, and I'm gonna use Go Nude, which is this very nude peach. Hoping it'll be close enough to my skin tone to be a setting shade. Looks a little dark. Yep, I'm just gonna go right over and then try again. If you're darker than me though, and I'm not talking like a lot darker, I'm talking about like your average light skin tone where I'm like even lighter, I think that setting shade would work perfectly for you for that purpose. And even if you have a medium skin tone, because I don't think it's that pigmented. Then I'm going to use Fling, which I originally thought was a navy blue. It might be a purple, I'm not sure. I'm going to take my Ivy White crease brush. It's like a blue indigo color. And I'm going to put that in my crease. That's pretty. I'm going to clean that off and try to blend that out a little more. And I think I'm also going to take some of that Hit It Off shade and put that there. Oh boy. Yeah, this turned out to be a little bit of a disaster. I'm going to take my dollar store brush and I'm going to go into Knockout, which is this, it's like a frosty off-white. It's like ever so slightly not white. I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight. Ooh, it comes off frostier on the skin. Might also depend on what you have underneath of it, both in eyeshadow and, okay, and in skin tone. I don't know what that was. Now, normally what I would do is like a lighter medium blue to a medium dark blue, but we don't have that here. So I'm going to go for something a little bit different. I'm going to try Room for Two, which is this medium to deep blue shimmer. And I'm going to put that on the outer third of my lid. So this is a greener blue than the blues in my crease. And I'm not too fond of that. I usually like to keep things, you know, the same tone, but that's what we have here. As I've said in other videos, the Morphe palettes that I've been collecting, I think I'll use them in a way that makes me happiest if I use them in combination with one another. So then I'm going to take this like taupey rose shade called Lust right there, and I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3 of the lid. I usually don't combine shimmery neutrals with my colors like this, but we're trying something a little different. And I'm just gonna blend the two together the best I can. To finish off, I think I'm going to take my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, go back into Hit It Off. I really do like this shade. I don't think it got a good test. And I'm gonna put that on the outer third to outer half of my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take that Lust shade, that taupey rose again, and put that on the inner half of my lower lash line. And just blend the two together. Then I'm taking my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it, and I'm going back into that Knockout shade, the frosty one, and I'm going to use that as an inner corner highlight. Just softly. If I use it with my finger, it would probably be a lot brighter. Alright, that is the first look. I really like it. I like how it turned out. I like the combination of color that I used. I think the shimmers worked really well. I wish the mattes had worked a little better, but I do think it's going to be a matter of setting my eyeshadow primer beforehand, at least for the blues. Yesterday's look faded a little bit, but by the end of the day it still was wearable, you know what I mean? I did notice a little bit of a difference between the primed eye and the not primed eye. There was maybe a little bit more fade, and there was like a tiny bit of creasing over here. But if you don't have hooded eyes like I do, maybe that wouldn't even be a problem for you without a primer. But for today, I primed this eye again, and again, this eye is not primed. I think I'm gonna try and go for something really soft and neutral. I mean, there's a million like light neutrally shades in here, so I gotta try one, right? I'm going to start with my fluffy brush from Wish, and I'm gonna go in with Scandal, which is this very light beigey nude, and that's going to be my transition shade. You know, I feel like even this one maybe could have benefited from a setting shade first. I mean, it's, as usual, better blended in person than in the camera, but still. Then I'm going to take my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it and go in with the shade next to it called Vixen. Like, I never thought I'd be using these kinds of shades in my life. And that's going to be my crease shade. I feel like even for me, that lighter shade I used as a transition is like super duper light. So I think it's better as maybe a blending shade, or maybe if you're going for something like really, really natural. Even though I'm going for something neutral today, like I still want to see it. Then I'm going in with my IBY crease brush. Maybe I'll mix a little of Addicted and Spice. Addicted is over here, Spice is over here. That's kind of a lot. We're losing the neutral natural vibe. I'm just gonna put that a little deeper into the crease. I mean, they're okay, but does this really excite anyone? I'm going to take a mix of those two shades again and use that on my outer third. I'm going to go with Private Party next. Just like a shimmery, neutral copper. Like it's not as warm as it could be. And I'm going to put that like just continuing on my way in, maybe to like the halfway mark. Can you even see what I'm doing? I keep blocking your view. Then I'm going to take Swipe Right, this very nude light champagne shimmer. I mean, it's pretty, but you know. And I'm going to put that in the space that I left and blend them together. Yeah, it's pretty. Then I'm going to take First Date. It's another very light nude. I guess this one's a little more peach and a little less shimmery, say, than that one. It's kind of a lot. And I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. A little more peach, a little less shine. I don't mind the color, but I wish there was more shine. But I mean, it's not like you don't have other choices. Alright, then I'll take my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it. I'll go back into Vixen. And I'm just going to run that under my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take French Kiss, which is this more nude brown, almost with a rosy undertone to it. It's like a light to medium, I guess. And I'm gonna put a little of that on the outer half of the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Shameless, the shade above it, that is, I guess, a little more beige champagne, and it's a shimmer. And I'm gonna put that on the inner half. You know, say opposed to this one up here, which is more, I don't know, it's definitely like brighter, lighter. People buy palettes that look like just like that, or even like that. I don't know how they do that. All right, I cheated. I put a little bit of colorful eyeliner and a colored mascara, but I have to say, I think I liked it better without the colorful eyeliner on the top lash line. The mascara is nice with it though. I should have just kept it all neutral because it took away like some of the shine that inner shade was giving off, and I feel like that was the best part of this look. Alright, so last look wore fairly well. A little bit of fading, very slight, but I have to say no creasing, and I personally would rather have fading than creasing. That was also a very light look that I did. Right now I'm just setting my eyeshadow primer. This eye is primed, the other eye is not, just to test that out a little more with that same shade called Go Nude. Then I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it and go into Seduced, which is this deep burgundy. And I'm going to make that my transition shade. I think you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of keeping the pressure more as I'm deeper into the crease, and then as I start blending out and up, I'm reducing the pressure that I'm using. Then I'm taking my IVY crease brush and I'm going to go into Addicted, which is this reddish brown. And I'm gonna put that here, deeper into the crease. And then I'm going to clean it off and start blending it into the burgundy. Then I'm going to take Tell Me More, which is a nice cranberry shimmer. And I'm going to put that on the outer and inner thirds of my eye. That one does not want to come off my finger. Then I'm going to take Heartbreaker, which looks like very pretty, like pinky peach coral. It's more subtle than I expected, but pretty. And I'm going to put that in the middle of my lid. And then gently tap it outwards to blend it. And I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it and just mimic what I have there. So I'm going on the outer and inner thirds of the lower lash line with the shimmery burgundy or shimmery cranberry, whatever you want to call it. And then with the shimmery peach in the middle. I think for that one, I'm better off using my finger. Yeah. Then I'm taking my dollar store brush and I'm going to go in with Swipe Right and use that as my brow bone highlight. And then with my dollar store brush again, I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup. I feel like this got a little bit messy. I started off with a nice shape and then I lost it. This is just my Maybelline Fit Me powder. So, I mean, the look is pretty, obviously a little bit more neutral than what I usually go for. I do like peach and like cranberry together, but I'm a little disappointed in the pigmentation and the shine of the shimmers that I used today. And just so you know, I did add a little bit of burgundy eyeliner on the inner and outer thirds of my top and bottom lash lines. The mattes were fine, but the peach and cranberry shimmer is a little bit disappointed in so far, but let's see how they wear. Alright, so the cranberry look actually wore the best, which is interesting. No creasing, no fading. So today I'm going to do a look that is kind of like the typical, you know, warm neutral with a pop of blue. For me, I guess that's different. Once again, I have this eye primed, this eye not, even though I'm not seeing that much of a difference between the two at the end of the day. I'm going to start with Go Nude, as I've been doing with my dollar store brush, to set my eyeshadow primer and create a base from crease to brow bone. Then I'm going to take my fluffy brush from Wish and go into Heat, which is this brightish orange. And that's going to be my this always happens. This is going to be my transition shade. More pigmented than I expected. Which I should have expected this, but I did not. I have not learned. And then I'm just cleaning my brush off and trying to blend out the top a little more. Then I'm taking my Ivy White crease brush and I'm going in with In the Zone, which is a reddish brown. And that's going to be my crease shade. Some of you are swooning right now, the neutral lovers out there. Me, I'm so bored. I feel like this one is a little bit harder to blend out, which is so interesting because most of the time it's the neutrals that are the easiest to work with in any palette. And I think last time I used a Morphe palette, the brown was a little harder to work with for me. That was the Boss Mood one, 35M, I think. I'm going to take that same shade and put it on the outer third of my lid. I'm going to try to blend it inward a little bit. Then I'm going to take Private Party, just like this bronzy color, and I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3 of my lid. And blend it into the brown, the matte brown. This kind of reminds me of the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette a little bit if you use the neutrals. Then I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, and I'm going to go into Spice. And start putting that under my lower lash line. I feel like that's closer to the other browns than I expected. Then I'm taking my smaller version of that brush from Wish, and I'm going to try Rendezvous. And that's going closer to the lash line. I wish I hadn't put the brown on first, because that definitely dulled the blue down. But oh well, we tried something a little bit different, at least for me. I'm going to finish up by putting Swipe Right on my dollar store brush and using that as my brow bone highlight and my inner corner highlight. For the inner corner highlight, I'm switching to my BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it. So yesterday's look, the neutral one with a little pop of blue, wore the best so far. There was a tiny bit of creasing on this side, but that was also the side without the primer. Otherwise, everything looked perfect. There was no fading, no creasing on this eye. I'm starting with my dollar store brush and go nude just to, as usual, set my eyeshadow primer, create a base. And once again, this eye is primed and this eye is not. I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it and go into Devoted, which is this greeny teal color. And that's going to be my transition shade. Yeah, this one's definitely a little harder to blend out. Probably because of the color it is and how pigmented it is. That being said, I'm pretty sure I have teals somewhere that blend out better than this. Then I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it, and I'm going to go into Little Black Book, which is the matte black. You know how I feel about black eyeshadow. I'm going to be really careful, and this is going deep into the crease. Okay, that's very pigmented, and I want to keep the teal, so I'm not going to add any more. I'm going to stop there. That's already more black than I wanted. Then I'm going to use Tantalizing, which is this shimmery black with maybe some plum sparkles in it. I don't know if you're really going to see those. And I'm going to put that on the outer third of the eye. This one is more like a true shimmer or satin. definitely not a metallic. I'm just taking my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it again. I'm going back into the deep teal just to close this little gap that I accidentally created. Then clean it off, go back into Little Black Book, and put that closer in. And then take a clean IBY crease brush and just bring that up and out. There we go. This is not the eyeshadow's fault. I just didn't go far out enough to begin with to make everything meet. Then I'm going to take the duochrome, which is Ride or Die, and it's a brown to greeny aqua. Pretty, but in this day and age, not unique. There are a lot of these out. It does not want to come off my finger, but it is going on the inner 2/3 of my eye. Darn it. I think this is comparable to Buxom's No Faux, and even though I think I like the slightly cooler shift to this one, the formula of the Buxom one is definitely better. I do feel it is worse on the eye without the primer. Then I'm going to take my little brush from Wish here, and I'm going to go into Stud, which is a sparkly, like, teal, I guess. And I'm going to put that under my eye. I had a feeling that would happen. This one seems to blend out to black. All right, I'm going to try my finger. You know what? This one seems to have a little bit of a duochrome to it. I don't know if you can see it. It might be whatever shimmer they put in it, like the sparkles. But it's trying to go like royal blue violet. I like this better with my finger. That is very dramatic. More dramatic than I usually go, but that's okay. And I'm just going to take my dollar store brush and my Maybelline Fit Me powder and just clean up the side a little bit. I have to say, despite having some more trouble with this one and it not being my typical kind of look, I do like how it turned out. When I turn, I can definitely see the like sequin sparkle kind of happening here. And I like the way that the colors go with one another. So if you can get the teal to blend out and you can get the duochrome to go onto your lid and you like smoky eyes, I think this is a really nice look that this palette can do. Alright, yesterday's look wore pretty well. There was no fading. The duochrome did move around a little bit, but everything else looked good. And I was really impressed with the lower lash line shade, the sparkly one. Usually those kinds of shades, I don't end up seeing the sparkles later on, and it was there the whole day. I'm going to do the last look with this palette today. This is probably going to be a super long video, but I really wanted to get a really good test out of all the different shades in here, because originally when I looked at this I saw like the berries, the blues, and the very light nudes, and now I see a whole lot more, and I hope you do too. This is actually a very versatile palette. So I'm going to set my eyeshadow primer with Go Nude, create a base, same deal, eyeshadow primer on this eye and not on the other eye. This look is going to have some of the colors that I used for my Valentine's Day look, so this is the palette that I used for that video. I'm going into Risque with my Beige Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it. That's the Mauve Beige color. And that's going to be my transition. I really like this color. know it's neutral for me, but I don't know, it's nice. I feel like the wear isn't that different from the primed eye to the not primed eye, but I feel like the application is different, and I prefer the application of the primed eye. This, I feel like the shadows don't go where I want them to go. Then I'm taking my IBY crease brush and I'm going in with Bad Boy, which is the deep purple matte, or the only purple matte, but it's a deep purple. And I'm going to put that in my crease. Then, super excited to take this shimmery purple called Crush. It's not picking up great. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those more like satin true shimmer shades. You know me, I'm all about the shine, the sparkle. This is going on my outer third. Okay. It did apply a lot better than I thought it would based on how it felt when I picked it up with my finger. Yeah, that applied really nicely actually. Then I'm going to take Three Little Words, the pink, or the light shimmery pink. It didn't do that the other day. What? Can you see that? I don't want to call it a duochrome, but it's not exactly a pink. I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3 of the eye. This reminds me of, you know, Too Faced's Candlelight Glow highlighter in Rosy Glow? How like it kind of looks pink, but then it kind of goes like a little gold and like very luminous. Just trying to blend that into the purple. So like, I don't know if you're seeing that. See where it's moved more in the pan, like where it wants to get a little bit of a hard pan, but it doesn't look like it's actually going to. See how that's like a pale gold rather than a pink? It's not really coming off pink. I guess it depends on how you use it. There's another shade like this. I think it was in the BH Cosmetics Color Festival palette, and there might be one like it in the ColourPop Lilac You a Lot palette. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty. I just wanted a pink. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm taking my little brush from Wish here, and I'm going back into Crush, the metallic purple, or shimmer purple rather, and I'm gonna put that on the outer third of my lower lash line. Yeah, it doesn't apply great with this brush. I think a finger is definitely better. Then I'm going to take the same brush into Three Little Words. Oop, I don't know if I can pick any of that up. Let's see. I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3 of the lower lash line and blend inwards. I'm just taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it clean, just to kind of move this shadow around here. And for the last step, I'm taking my dollar store brush and I'm going into Knockout, which is the pearly color. And I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight. I have to say, I really like this one. This is exactly what I would do with those colors. I know some of these looks I was trying to do something a little bit different, but this is exactly what I would have done with these colors. Also, I have a virtual Valentine's event later, so put a little heart So now, to end the video, I'm going to swatch everything. So we have knockout, swipe right, three little words, risque, seduced, room for two, devoted, first date, trying to get them as close together as possible, go nude, lust, heartbreaker, tell me more, hit it off, ride or die, shameless, scandal, yeah, that duochrome doesn't swatch well, and it was a little difficult to apply. Vixen, turned on, tryst, rendezvous. So far, I think turned on might have been the only one I didn't try out. Oh no, that's a lie. Some of the neutrals didn't get tried out. Stud, French kiss, swoon, in the zone. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with that sparkly teal. And actually, I feel it would look nice with this French kiss shade. Wild thing, addicted, fling, tantalizing. Yeah, not impressed with the satin black. Polished, oops, private party, spice, heat, and the last three, bad boy, crush, and little black book. Alright, so here are all the swatches. I do feel like some of the shades are similar to each other, but not that much. I definitely like this one better than the 35M, the Boss Mood palette. That one definitely didn't have as much variety, and it didn't have enough difference between the tones. This one definitely goes from very light to very dark, and a lot of stuff in between. And there's a lot of different colors in it. It did wear well for the most part. Yeah, I had a couple issues. Not every shade is perfect, but I have to say I really did enjoy this palette, and I'm glad that I own it. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you have a good day no matter what it is you're doing. Bye! See you next time!